Hello, hello. We are back.
Hello.
We're back to get some shipped done. Charlie is here and present, but he's ethereal today and only coming to us with his voice. This show is designed for us to work out loud, and very often working out loud when it comes to me means people are driving or going for a walk, right? Like that's you often work with me
Yeah,
that way, right, Charlie?
yeah. This just me being uh, here where I can hear you and uh, see your screen. If you want to share something with me and talk and give your feedback,
I,
is what happens a lot.
indeed. Well, here, real quick, let's do this. So I want to show people a couple of things. Uh, let me just to kind of update people. So in the meta view of this stuff, one of the things that I mentioned needing to figure out last time was how I could have a transcription while we are working. And I figured that out. So there's an app here that I'm using right now that's free on the Mac. You can see if you see my screen right now. Charlie, can you see my screen?
I can
Uh,
see it. That's super cool.
yeah, so this is an app called Be My Ears. That's available on the Mac App Store. If you're on Windows, I don't know what the solution is for you because I'm on a Mac, so I look for solutions for things that I need. Uh, but uh, but yeah, so this one is capturing. Well, here, go ahead and say something, Charlie.
I think this is a pretty cool tool and part of your superpowers.
Yeah, there you go. And so, yeah, so it seems like it doesn't always get everything. So it's getting my audio pretty well. It's not always getting yours. It looks like, but it should
Gotcha.
be good enough for what I typically run into. Go ahead and I don't know. Let's test this out again. What's something I can have you talk about? I want if you can give people a quick overview of what referrals while you sleep is.
Yeah. So referrals while you sleep automates your follow up and nurture with everyone that you already know on autopilot. All that it takes is an hour a week at max of you doing what's called a duo video. And then we have a system that handles the rest to make sure that you're top of mind and trusted by all your warm audience. So you can get all the leads you want and know that your follow up system is completely handled because the money is not in the banana stand. The money is in the follow up.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not doing a great job with your audio. I wonder if there's something I could fix about that. Let's take a look. It's grabbing your audio, so it's obviously going to going into the app. So it's getting it, but it seems like it's either delayed or it's missing some of it. So let me see. Let me see if there's anything I could do to help that from being visible in screenshots. Oh, here. If I if I turn this on, can you no longer see it by any chance?
I only see your background.
Interesting. Okay. So there's a setting here. I could turn on screen protection. So can you see it now?
No, I only see I see be my ears. That's what I see.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, I just changed it. I wonder if it'll change an update. But okay, so permissions, that part's good. Let me see. What are these lab features? System audio only, permission optional. Out enable. Make sure system audio only permission. Okay, what is this? Allow the application below to access or record your system audio. Go to settings. Let's see. Let's see if this fixes anything. I don't want it to only access that, but let's see. Oh, I need to enable it first. Um, yeah, only access system audio. Use confirm. Okay. Let's see. Did that add it in here? close out of that. All right, I need to restart the app to apply the changes. Let's do that. Allow. All right. Let's see if that made this any better, or if I still need to update that a bit. Can you see the Be My Ears thing again?
Yeah, I can see this. Looks like it's the settings of Be My Ears.
Well, and then off to the right, you should see the actual live transcription. Maybe you can't see that. I'm not sure what comes through.
I can see the live transcription. And so I see your desktop. I see the settings next to the live transcription, and then I see the live transcription.
All right, perfect. All right, let me make sure that this is enabled here. I'm going to see if this gives us any better effectiveness. All right, Be My Ears. It has that on. All right, perfect. Okay, I want you to try and describe referrals while you sleep again one more time, and let's see if it gets the audio better.
Referrals while you sleep automates your follow-up to all the warm audience, all your leads automatically. And all that it takes from you is to have one piece of content, usually within an hour, once a week. And we coach you on how to do that. If you're already creating content, you actually don't have to do anything once it's set up. It's all just done for you.
Interesting. That's still not getting it well. Record while transcribing, system settings can help system. How to hear distant sounds. Okay, let's see. What does this do?
Am I coming through your speakers?
So this app is supposed to no, you're in my headphones. This app is supposed to be able to grab the system audio, so it should be grabbing what I hear. But let's see.
Gotcha.
It can help when recording from microphone in classrooms. Okay. But what are you supposed to do?
And is the reason for this, Chris, is not picking up the StreamYard stream? Is that what's happening?
No. So Chris works fine. The problem is that I have to end our meeting in order to get the Chris transcription, and I want to be able to use the transcription live while we're working. I do that very often.
Gotcha. What do you normally use for live transcriptions?
So built into Zoom has live transcription, and then Fireflies in Google Meet gives me a live transcription there. Gotcha. So this is mostly since we're doing this as a live stream, trying to solve for how I could accomplish that in this live stream environment using StreamYard. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't capture it as much. Maybe, I mean, like what's possible is I could probably get done part of what I need to by essentially restating the points that are necessary. That might be good enough. That's often what I do anyway. Right. I don't know. You've probably seen me do that, where part of what I do to check for understanding is I restate what I'm hearing and what I understand. And then from that I check my clarity. So that might be enough for us to be able to at least make it work. I do wish it was grabbing your audio better. I wonder if your voice from system voice, microphone voice, English, that's fine. We don't need translation. What does this do? Recording. What's expert recording? Here, let me try turning on the recording. And yeah, does that mean it's recording or not? I can't tell. It went green. Green usually means it's usually red is usually what you show when you're recording. Okay, go ahead and well, tell me this. So referrals while you sleep. You mentioned that. Tell me specifically a bit about the duo videos. I just want you to talk about something different, but we're testing the same thing.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, what the duo videos were a fascinating discovery because the majority of people are not good at doing solo videos, which means you turn on the camera and just start talking to it. Uh,
Right.
there's a lot of companies out there that you pay thousands of dollars a month, and they basically just keep you accountable to do a solo video. But most entrepreneurs are really good at talking to people and having conversations of what they do. So we created a specific system to connect you with people that are relevant. So instead of just talking to the camera, uh, you're actually just having a conversation about parts of what you do or parts of your life with someone else that becomes really interesting and fascinating and easy and fun. And so then your content isn't a bore or a chore, but something you actually enjoy.
Perfect. That still is getting me about the same. Let's see. Copy the whole, copy translation, clear subtitle, recording. Oh, it's not expert. It was export recording. I don't know. My brain saw that wrong. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't need the recording of this. We're already going to end up with a recording. Okay. So that doesn't fix it. So, okay. So here's what we've learned in this process. This is part of what I like to do with things like this. So I very often, to see if a tool will do what I want it to, I put it into a scenario to see if it's doing what I want. This tool, Be My Ears, is working pretty well for part of what we need, which is it's at least giving me a live transcription that I could copy and paste, which is different than let's see, captions. Is that what it is here? There's actually a thing that you could turn on. Here we go. Is it this one? And live captions. So there's actually a feature built in to the Mac that gives you live captions. Interesting. It looks like it's messing up on me. I don't know why that's happening. But there's a feature built into the map, but I couldn't figure out a way to make it so I could copy and paste the stuff. It just gives me the whatchamacallit, the text, but I can't copy it, and I can't tell if I can actually like scroll. Yeah, I can scroll through it, but it makes it like I can't copy it as far as I could tell, and I didn't see. Here, let's look at settings real quick. I don't see a way that I could get so that I could copy and paste the text out of it, but let's double check that. Maybe I didn't dig into that enough. So it's a setting under accessibility and captions. No, live captions is what we're looking for. Yeah, and I don't see a way in here to make it so that live captions could be copy and pasted on the Mac. So like the captions are here, they exist, but like I can't do anything with them. And so that's why that one ended up not being an option. I whenever possible, I like to default to built-in tools. But when they don't do what I need to, then I have to look for other options. So Be My Ears is doing a very similar thing to what live captions built into the Mac does. But it makes it so I can actually copy and paste it, and I have like the whole running transcript here. So as we're working on stuff, I could come through and I could copy it all, right? I can, get everything from here. So I could, copy the whole. I can clear it. I can copy parts of it, and that's really useful as we're working together live on these sorts of things. So anyway, that's what we have there. Yeah. Was that a fun, useful diversion?
Yeah, I think that does show one really. You're really good at finding software that is effective and free, or at least like really low cost and not per user. Because one of the things that I experienced, as I I built, when I built my real estate team, one of the things that surprised me was, a lot of stuff that's really affordable for me. Once I get a team of 10 people, now it's 10x the cost, or sometimes like 15x the cost, because you got to go up, more per user. And you've got a really good ability that everyone in your AMP Intel elite that's around you, you've got a good ability of saying, hey, here's some stuff that doesn't grow exponentially as you grow. Really good at kind of using the profit first model there. So that's kind of a cool little insight there.
Yeah, and like for me, a lot of it is it's kind of related back to it's related back to I want to build in a way where like I don't have to account for as much in order to keep the numbers working. And the more that I build out per user costs into my business, the harder it becomes to scale, where like adding an employee also means I need to not only add the employee costs, but I also need to add software costs. And it just makes it so that I also have to account for that with product and profit, right? Where whatever I'm delivering on needs to do that too. And sometimes, like, I don't know, it's just easier to say, well, my business has the budget to afford a person, but does it also have the budget to afford all the software that it would take to build with them? And so, like, I don't know, it just lessens the overall burden of what it takes to be adaptable. And so, yeah, so I like whenever possible being able to build in a way that I have the least number of required per user cost things possible. And that's that is a big part of what I look for, and that's part of why open source self-hosted software tends to be a big part of my mix. I really do. I look often for tools that I can build. I mean, really what it is if I'm going to build a process around something, I really want to build a process around something that I feel fairly reliably will adapt with me over the long term. Right. So,
right.
And if I have those built-in user costs, there are times where it's like, this user cost doesn't make sense, so I need to get away from it anyway. And so the more that I can do that, the better. I just threw some new music in here that Meryl had found for us. Let's try some of it out. Are you able to hear it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the middle of maybe the game Prince of Persia. Does that seem right?
You are in the middle of the game Prince of Persia, so yeah, it does. It's got a bit of a Ren Fair sort of feel to it, like a epic Ren Fair. All right, let's see what the next one sounds like. Here's Happy Piano. I mean, it sounds fun. I don't know if it's quite the feel that we want. And let's see, how about this?
It's like Tom Hanks in the movie Big at a festival is what that was.
Right? Oh, this one's feeling good.
Yeah.
This one's called Hopeful Tranquility Ambient Lounge Loop. All right. I think that one could stay. Should I get rid of Baroque Summer?
Yeah.
All right. And should I get rid of the Happy Piano? Is there any reason why we didn't use that one?
No, I get rid of that one. I like this one.
Yeah, this one feels good. All right, let's see what the next one sounds like. Got some xylophone to it. Yeah.
I feel it's too it commands my attention too much. Yeah, like it's not good background music. It's like when my kid screams.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't have the like that xylophone sound to it, the underlying beat and like overall melody is fine, but I think it's that pingy xylophone that's doing it. Yeah, I'll get rid of that one. All right, let's see what the next one is. I feel like I'm about to hear Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. You know what I'm talking about. Any of those Audio Jungle loops you get, like this feels very Audio Jungle-y. Yeah, I think we could probably get this one too. What do you think?
I'm okay with this one if it's lowered a little bit. But yeah.
All right, so here's our mixes right now. So we've got our ambient funk. Okay, we got that one.
This is by far my favorite.
We've got this deep future garage. Okay, and we've got this one that we just added. I feel like this was the good one. We just added this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I really like this one.
And then we have this one too. Okay, so we have some different options in here at the back end for us to be able to do. But we'll go with the favorite. Or do you want to do the new favorite or the new one?
Yeah, let's do the new favorite. Let's do Hopeful Tranquility.
All right. I got it going. I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. There we go. All right. We got some music going. Okay.
Makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. Not only for sake of watching the stream, but also for sake of, like, honestly, I like working to this kind of music.
Yeah.
There's an old site that's shut down called Focus.fm that I used to love listening to, that had like just a full mix of this kind of music. But yeah, that's gone now, so I have to find other sources. But either way, for sake of the stream, it makes the stream feel a little bit more, doable. All right. MidTicket offer. That's what we're working on. What we've covered so far, I just wanted to show people the tool that I'm using in order to be able to have live captions while we're doing this. So really, to put that in perspective, there's sort of two ideas here. Right now, Actively Crisp is going to be getting a transcription for me. That will do a really good job of giving me the transcription for this whole meeting after the fact, right? And I'll be able to do things off of that. And there's often times where I will, but very often for me, I actually need that transcription while we're working, right? Like the things that we talk about, I want to take that and throw it into a tool and start building off of that immediately. And so that's why this Be My Ears, why I found that, set that up. So I have that running in the background. You may not always see it, but that's going. So there you go. That's the thing. So now to really set the intention though of what this session for us is going to be about. So last time, when we were talking, our stated goal right now is to work on MidTicket offer. For me, we're building around this tool that I built out called Brandy. Brandy is an AI agent that listens to my meetings and then gets me social post content based on the meetings. And essentially what we figured out is for sake of a MidTicket offer, Brandy itself probably doesn't make sense because it's right now at a stage where it's kind of complicated for us to deploy that out. But we could develop a MidTicket offer kind of on the back of what I've built there by showing people the process of how you can take your meeting recordings and turn them into social content fairly readily. And essentially, the expectation would just be that I'm not making the expectation that I'm going to show people how to automate all of that. It's not that I won't necessarily include some of the stuff that I do to automate it. I don't want to set people's expectations to say, but you buy this thing, you're gonna know how to automate this, because that's more complicated than I think we really effectively are going to be able to cover. But the other thing that came out of the last session was that there is opportunity for us to build a tool that makes that process easy for people. And I think as we continue to flesh this out, as we continue to work on this, I'm very open to what it might look like for us to build something out like that. I just feel like that project is likely we have to figure out how to put first things first, get revenue coming in off of the back of the value that's already there, and if we can figure out how to validate that it's worth building it before doing the work, or drastically minimizing the work. I don't know. There's still some stuff for us to explore there, if that makes sense, of us figuring that out. But I think the idea of long term, us building out a product where we build out like an AI assistant that makes this process easy for people to automatically get their meetings turned into social content for them. I think that's still a thread that we'll continue pulling on. Does that all make sense? Does that sound accurate for kind of where we are?
Yeah. Because one of the things like that we're working on is, all right, how do we build our audience? Like that's really the purpose of the MidTicket offer, is how do we like consistently build our audience of our ideal clients profitably or break even.
Right. Exactly. And the other thing that I see about the MidTicket offers is building the tools and resources that we need for our premium audience in a way that we get paid to build those tools, knowing that like there's this cross section of our entire list that isn't going to buy everything, that isn't going to buy the premium, and so we could still kind of serve those people in a capacity that makes sense for their needs and demands. Like they may never buy into a continual thing, but they'll buy one-off product, right? And so we can get paid to build the things that we need for our premium. So it's like it still all kind of comes into that same flow. And yeah, the thing that is kind of a current unknown is, do we have a good way to think through building even a simple software tool that kind of fits in that MidTicket bucket or not? Kind of in this vein of trying to do the least amount of upfront work as possible and maximize the once we've gotten paid work, if that makes sense. Okay, so but for now, our first thing to accomplish at the moment is getting this MidTicket offer dialed. And the MidTicket offer itself that we're looking at doing is talking through how to turn your meetings into social content. And so my first step in a process like this is, and here, let me pull up my tome of wisdom that I have here in Obsidian. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's go to this view. There we go. And I'm getting Obsidian going. So Obsidian is a tool that is a note-taking app. Is my templater not working? There we go. And what I won't go into the full depth of what all it does, but at a basic level, here a second. Offer. I need to find my file here for this. So offer creation. What did I call this? At a basic level, it's a place for me to take notes and show ideas related to each other. So I know one of them that I have, productize your genius. Okay, so I know this one, and then I can come down here and I can see which offer or which notes relate to this. So offer development process, conceptualization. Okay, and then anything linked to this one. Productize your genius, best-selling, curriculum template. Define the transformation outcome. Yeah, so I mean, this is most of what I'm looking for, I believe. Guide to managing. I think this one might be it. Let's see. And then there we go. Guide to creating effective business offers. I think this is my overarching framework. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's the one that I was already in. Okay, so first off, these are the steps that I need to go through. So number one, define the transformation. So identify the big transformation you want to provide, articulate the value and impact of this transformation. So let me just talk through talk through some of those ideas. I'm going to keep this up for myself to guide me through this process. And then Charlie, feel free to like ask me questions if you feel like there's anything that I need to dive in deeper into, or things that you think I need to flesh out more. So okay. The key transformation that we're helping people with here, we're helping business owners really like this is designed for people that are already meeting with others as part of like where and how they convey their value, right? And so that can happen in any number of ways. That could be real estate teams. If you're a real estate team leader and you meet with agents and you coach them through how to improve their business, that would qualify for this. It doesn't have to be a digital meeting. Any meeting where you're meeting with another person as part of you convey the value. That could be course creators, right? People who are putting together courses and workshops and creating content in order to convey their value. That could be freelancers, people like that who are maybe part of what they do is they onboard clients. They talk people through through what they're looking for. Like even if you're in a not talking heavy sort of zone, like maybe you're a designer and you do like an onboarding session where you get clear on what people are looking for, et cetera, and you sort of talk through those ideas, you spitball ideas, et cetera. So through that process, really your unique point of view typically comes across, where you say, here's what I recommend and why, right? And here's my experience and those sorts of things. So our goal here is that any meeting that happens, that we're able to leverage that as the source and epicenter of our content creation. And for many of us, it feels really easy to do those things where we're either delivering on or meeting with clients or running those meetings. That feels easy. But the part that feels hard is to stop and mentally switch gears into actually creating the content, right? And so the transformation that we're looking to build out here is we're looking to build out the idea that you can do what you're already doing, and through the power of AI, turn that into the content that you need to actually promote what you're doing. Right, that your unique point of view, your unique way of looking at the world, your spark of humanity actually can come and be present in your content. And this is drastically better than just asking AI to create the content for you, because it doesn't come empowered with that. It doesn't come empowered with your unique point of view, the tools, the ways that you think about things, how you get things done. It doesn't capture that. It doesn't capture your experience. And so you either need to actively sit down and do the work of putting together documentation of your experience and your point of view and all of that, or we just leverage the fact that already comes through in the conversations that you're having anyway, and we use that as the context in order to build our social content out of it. So the outcome here is that you keep doing what you're doing, and instead of having to learn a somewhat difficult skill of taking what you do for people and then learning how to talk about what you do for people in a way that people find impactful, through social posts and writing and that sort of thing. Instead of having to learn that skill, instead you learn the skill of how to take what you're already doing and use AI to be like the outside observer, to take that and form it into a new medium for you to then be able to leverage, and to make that process feel really easy so that you don't have to be in a high creative mode in order to get this content done. It's the kind of thing that you can do even when you're feeling tired. It's the kind of thing that you could pretty readily outsource to somebody on your team, somebody either in the States or even overseas, and with virtual help. And ultimately, it's the kind of thing that you can actually fully automate. And so while fully automating it isn't covered in this course, in this that we're doing, the skeleton, the bones of the process that we're going to do is something that can be automated. So that's kind of the overall transformation there, is that what was once hard, but you need to do, of content marketing and getting your message out into the world and in these social channels, now that becomes easy, and it's built off the back of what you're doing already. Does that make sense, Charlie? Yeah.
It basically lets you. I like to think of it, it's almost like you can, Gary Vee has a huge team of people that takes what he's already doing and converts it into content marketing. Alex Ramosi, spends $250,000 a month, he says, with a team of people that take what he's already doing and converting it into content. this
Right.
system is going to do that at a level, of course, not that exact level, but at a pretty high level.
Right.
You know, probably the 80-20 rule, you know,
Right.
that does that with the content you already have.
Right. Yep. Exactly. All right, perfect. Let's see. So define the desired outcomes. Where do customers want to be? So customers want to be producing this content. I'm looking at these questions on here and make sure I'm answering them. So they want to be producing this content. They want to be attracting a flood of people that see them as a trusted resource, see them as an expert, understand the value that they provide, and ultimately want to, either hire them, work with them, buy their products, whatever the solution that somebody's producing, like that. That's what they want. They want that outcome. So the starting point, most people right now, sure, they've probably dabbled with AI. They've probably seen that it could be hard to get content that actually sounds like you, that actually conveys your point, that it's, I love your word for this. It's generic slop. I also like to call it hot garbage. The AI produces normally kind of this consensus content that technically sounds okay and expert driven, but it's not your unique point of view. It's missing your nuance. And so, there's a few things that happen with this. So some people may have some experience where they figured that out. Some people have maybe even figured out that they can get AI to sound like them, but like, maybe they've had a hard time of seeing how this flow could actually work, where you could leverage your meetings in order to create the content. So I see that being the case as well. Another starting point here is that we have people that they aren't even doing this at all right now, right? Like, so they're having the meetings, but they're just feeling guilty that they're not doing the content. I know that was my point of view, right? Like, it's like, I know better than this. I know I need to be producing this stuff, but I'm not. So what can I do to leverage AI to help solve this for me? And that's why I built this for myself. So let's see. So determine required actions. What customers need to do. So in this process, there's a number of things that customers are going to need to do. One, you need to be recording all of your meetings, right? So at a minimum, that's how you start fixing this. If it's in person, you could leverage something like a Plod Note, or even like just a Zoom voice recorder, anything. And shoot, even your phone, like turn on a voice note and get a recording of what's going on there in person. You want to capture the audio. If it's a digital meeting, it's a lot easier to do that. You can use tools like Zoom has built-in transcription and recording. You can just leverage that. You can leverage tools like a Fathom, Fathom AI for note taking. You can leverage Fireflies. Tool that I tend to use for digital stuff is crisp.ai, because I use it for other things as well, like background noise cancellation. As for instance, like my kids are screaming in the background right now. Well, not screaming, but like, I don't know, they're making noises. And hopefully that's not coming through the stream, because Crisp is taking care of that. But Crisp also will transcribe meetings as well and record your system audio. So I'm able to leverage it to get those transcripts as well. So we need a tool like that. We need to get that set up. So that's going to be part of what we do. The next thing that we're going to need to do is we're either going to need to have a habit of going through and processing our meetings into social content, or an automation that does that for us. But once we have a transcription, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to extract out of it all the different ideas that we talked about. So typically, what I found is that every hour of meeting or so, I tend to find easily about 7 to 10 posts per hour of recording, because in the process of meeting with somebody, I'm covering different ideas. And your social posts aren't typically like, here's my entire system, right? It's like a snippet, it's a snapshot. It's when we're looking at like referrals while you sleep, we'd be talking about, occasionally talk about the power of a duo video, right? And then occasionally talk about like, and even talking about duo videos. Like we talk about the problem that people are covering. We talk about how you solve making it easy. We talk about what do you talk about on a duo video, and each and every one of those could be its own unique piece of social content that ultimately gets the message out, right? So it's like you take it and you give people these bite-sized pieces. So that's part of what we're going to do is we're going to take the transcript and we're going to extract out like what are those different bite-sized pieces of actionable ideas, actionable content that we covered in this transcription. We're going to take those, we're going to separate them out so that we have these nuggets of wisdom, right? those nuggets of wisdom, we're then going to take those and we're going to kind of repair them with the transcript so that we get the portions of the transcript that are relevant to those nuggets of wisdom, so that when we process into social posts, we're not wasting tokens by trying to process the whole transcription. Instead, we are right sizing the amount of content that we're giving AI to generate our social post itself. Okay, so that's our next step. From there, now we have what I call an atomic content pack. Okay, so an atomic content pack, and that atomic content pack is going to include those core concepts of what you covered, what your point was, etc., and it's going to include the portions in the transcript that are relevant to you making that point. That we then turn into what I call a my standard or my baseline social post. My baseline social post is going to be it's not exactly long form, but it's not short form, right? It's not a tweet. It's more like a mini article. It's like an atomic essay, right? Where what you're doing is you're conveying that point as adequately as necessary in a way that somebody could read it and really understand what you're looking for. And the reason why we start with that is because it's really easy to go from that into any of the other styles of content that we want to do. And for a lot of people, you could literally just stop there, right? You could stop there and you can have your standard content and you use that and you leverage that and you might have enough with that. If you want to then take it and make it more adaptable, you could take that piece of content and turn it into, what would this look like as an individual tweet? What would this look like as a tweet thread? Or whatever they call them on X now. What would this look like if this was a short video script? What would this look like if this was an Instagram carousel, right? What would this look like if it was a LinkedIn essay? What would this look like if it was a LinkedIn post? What does this look like on, I don't know. You get the idea of what I'm saying there, right?
Yep.
So we have our standard social post, and then we turn it into our derivative versions of that social post, and then from there, I mean, you publish it, right? And so it's the tools to get it out and publish it. There's lots of different tools that you could work with on that. I don't really have a hard and fast recommendation for that right now. There's a few that we've used that I like for this, but really it's anything that lets you take the content and then get it scheduled out. I do tend to like tools, if possible, that let me add content to evergreen drip buckets, and then so you manage the content library separate from the distribution scheduling. So you set the schedule and you say, okay, you're going to pull from this bucket and just fill in the posts as needed to drip the content out over time. So that I like tools that do that typically, but it's also perfectly okay to just do that manually yourself. To say, I have, here's my content. Let me schedule this out for the next month or so. Does that make sense? Oh, I might have lost you there, but no worries. So that's the idea. That's the process there that we are flowing through and doing. So yeah, those are the required actions at each step. So let's see. Identify potential obstacles. What might prevent success? So what might prevent success? Not knowing the tools to use. Other things that might prevent success. Historically, not having a clear understanding of which AIs are good for what. Right? Because not all of this could be done in ChatGPT effectively, in my opinion. I recommend specific tools for different parts of this process in order to maximize your cost, maximize your value compared to cost, maximize the effectiveness, the quality of it. Like I found Claude tends to be a better writer than OpenAI in most cases. But that's always changing, right? So that this changes and adapts over time too. So like Grok's new stuff is being pretty good. I keep playing with that one too. There was just R1 that was released. I haven't found it to be great at writing, but it could be good at doing some of the aspects of this. So there's lots of tools that are available. I would show the workflow and process that's actually working for me to help people sort through kind of that army of tools that are available. What else? What other obstacles can you think of, Charlie? Are you back? Can you hear me?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. What are some obstacles?
Check 1 2.
I hear you. Are you hearing me?
Yep, we're good.
All right, perfect. What are some other obstacles that you could think of that people either have faced or maybe will face in the process of doing this? What are some of the things that somebody coming into this process they'd be concerned about that we can I mean, you're familiar with what this process looks like. So what are some things that you can think of that would help put them at ease and make them feel like their chances of success are high?
I mean, I would say if you're comfortable having a Zoom meeting or having a recording in the background, some people might be concerned, like, hey, can I use this recording if, like, what if the person I'm talking to doesn't want to be recorded?
Right.
That could be a possible, why this wouldn't work for me. And the answer, of course, is like, you're converting it into text.
Right.
I can't give anything else. I mean, it is pretty straightforward, long as like you set up the tech, or you have an assistant do it for you, or you automate it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and so yeah, we could speak to that. In terms of recording, part of it is a little bit dependent. So there's a couple of things to note in that. Part of it's a little bit dependent on what state you're in for what the laws and requirements are. You can look it up. There's a difference between a one-party versus two-party state. And so legally, if you are in a one-party state, you are the only one who has to be aware that you're recording. So you can leverage that to be able to say, hey, I know how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to use it, and I feel comfortable with it. So that is something that you can note. There are two-party states. Two-party states require that both parties being recorded are aware of that and are okay with it. And honestly, what I found is typically it's as simple as, hey, I record these so that I can transcribe this and turn this into written posts, for myself later. Are you okay with that? And most people I found will be okay. Now, if you're ever in a situation where it's not okay, yeah, you'll have to turn off the recording. I mean, that would be the legality around it. I will tell you that right now, I have been doing this kind of process and running meetings in this way at this point probably for about 4 or 5 years, where I'm recording them and leveraging those recordings. I have yet to have one person that has said no, don't record. I haven't had anyone. So luckily, it's not typically a problem. So that's worth noting. The other thing that I could see that would potentially be an obstacle for people would be feeling like this is too hard of a tech process, right? Like maybe they haven't explored AI, they're not familiar with this. So what I would say to that is that we're going to be showing exactly what to do, step by step, showing you the exact tools. You're going to be seeing over the shoulder what we do. That's how we build these things out. The plan is that we're going to be offering this in a workshop environment where you get the opportunity both to not only see how it's done, but also get the opportunity to stop, ask questions, and force us to give you the information that you need to confidently move forward and get the help that you need. So this is definitely the kind of thing, if you want the outcome, if you want the result, I can't think of a better place for you to learn it and have confidence, even if you're not super tech inclined. Now, that being said, you likely to really maximize the abilities of this, if you need to know how to use a Zoom meeting, right? You need to be the kind of person that going into Zoom, starting a Zoom, that sort of thing, you probably want at least that level of tech skill, right? If that feels hard for you, this is probably going to feel hard too. So it would not be a good fit. If that feels pretty easy, if starting a Zoom, clicking the record button, installing an application, like if that all feels pretty easy, then this should all feel pretty easy as well. This is largely templates and copy and paste and step by step. Here's where you put the information and what you do with it. So that it should all feel very doable. Now, depending on your skill set, you might need to take more time with it. You might need to give yourself a bit more of a process. But for most people who would likely be encountering this is going to be really simple. And that's part of what we did. We optimized this. We had started with trying to think through what it would look like to build out what I do. And quite honestly, what I do is probably a little bit too advanced for most people. And so we really strip this down to, what is the quickest, easiest, fastest way that everyone should be able to leverage and get a powerful outcome from. And I feel really confident that we're going to be able to deliver on that and get people the help that they need for any questions that might come up. I know you mentioned before that you didn't have any other obstacles. Now that we've talked about it a little bit more, is there anything else that potentially comes to mind, Charlie?
The only thing that I would say is if you're not good at the tech stuff and you want to do this anyway, you should reach out and get our VA course that we had on how to hire a virtual assistant like you've got Mural, so that they can set it all up for you. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, shoot. I mean, quite honestly, I might make that a bonus of this.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah. So we say, hey, you're not going to be able to, we're not going to build out how to automate this, but man, we'll give you access to our VA hiring accelerator so that you can have somebody else do this for you. And yeah, I think that's a great solution to that. So, if somebody is feeling like this might be too advanced for them, well, hey, they could get access. They'll end up getting access to the VA hiring accelerator course as well. And then they can have somebody else go through this and learn the process and be able to implement that. And there we go. We solved that problem.
Perfect.
Anything else that you can think of?
No, it's pretty simple and straightforward the way you've got it. Those are the requirements.
Perfect. Let's see. So analyze past failures. Why have previous attempts failed? Okay, so let's think through this. So this is mostly, why have previous attempts failed in terms of, most people probably haven't tried to do this, but if they have, again, you get the generic slop, the hot garbage outputs from AI that aren't factoring for your unique voice, your unique point of view, your lived experience and expertise. Instead, they're factoring for the consensus, and so you get garbage out of it. This process really helps you to make it so that AI submits itself to you rather than trying to lead the way too much. Right. And so and as a result, you get over that where the posts actually start sounding like you. The posts actually feel like you. They feel like, the way that you word things, the way that you talk about things, the examples that you'd bring up. But not only that, they also start to sound like you and start to sound like the way that you would do these things, but in those social environments. Right. So it really helps to mitigate that. For anybody that isn't currently doing the social posting, what you've probably tried in the past, maybe you've tried paying for somebody else to do this for you, and you end up encountering that it's still the same sort of thing, right? Like, it still takes the time of meeting with somebody to get them clear on your tone of voice and all that sort of stuff. And what's powerful about this process is that AI is actually able to just observe and understand it, because it can process your transcriptions like somebody sitting on all your meetings with you and starting to understand and think just like you do. And it's really hard, actually, to find a human that can do that reliably. It would be boring for most humans to sit and just be on your calls and try and understand what you're talking about in an attentive way. But AI doesn't get bored, right? It's able to just sit there and understand and do that. So it's able to do that for you.
It doesn't get bored yet.
Yeah, fair enough. So it helps to overcome that, where it's like, if you've encountered that it's kind of hard even to hire humans to do this process for you. In many ways, AI can actually do this better than some humans will, because it takes less time to train it on understanding you. You just provide it the context of your recordings, and it's able to understand you through the recordings, through the transcripts. So that helps with that. What else? So people have tried, maybe they've tried like templates and tools and systems that are designed to make it easy to do the social posting. But let's be honest, it's still hard to switch gears from, I convey this content, to now let me write about this content. But you know what's really good at doing that, and it feels really easy for it? AI is really good at, you provide it, here's my content and here's my templates. I want you to make my content written like these templates, right? And so if you've done things like that in the past, and if you have access to those, shoot, like this is actually a great pairing, a great way to further maximize and leverage those. If you've got somebody that you follow that you're like, man, I really like the way that they post, I really like this style of content, I bought this course, I've done this thing, and it's designed to help me make this easy, but it's never really worked out because, again, I have to build a new habit. Man, this is a great fit for that too, because you can still leverage everything that you've got access to, but make it easier to go from your meeting to actually getting that social content out there. What else have people tried? People have tried to build a habit, but it's really hard. It's like every day, it feels like you're staring at a blank page. You're staring at a blank page, and trying to be creative day after day after day is hard. But you know what isn't hard? It's not hard for you to do what you're already doing. It's not hard for you to meet with people. It's not hard for you to have those conversations and solve those problems, right? So that's not hard. And so we're leveraging the thing that's not hard in order to make the thing that is hard easy. And so, yeah, if you've stared at a screen thinking, like, what am I going to post? Or it's like, maybe you started and you tried a number of times and it's like, you did a good job. Like for me, I was able to get myself to post every day for a month. And the way that I did it is that I set a bet that if I didn't, any day that I didn't, I would have to donate to a cause that I hated. And so, yeah, that was enough to get me to do it. But man, I mean, that is a completely different feel in terms of building that habit and building that strategy. And like, I still leverage that sort of thing. But man, wouldn't it be nice if the aspect of that, where it's like you didn't also have to figure out something new to say, something creative, right? Like where you're able to just leverage what you're already doing to get done what you want to. So I know for most people, even getting to 30 days is hard, right? It's like maybe you've tried and you were able to post for a week and do it every day, or maybe you tried and you're able to get a post or two done, but then it starts slipping, right? So if you've looked at your social feed and you felt guilty about how much you're posting compared to what you want to, right? Like this is a great way to have another tool in your tool belt to be able to make it feel easier to get that posting done, to get that content out there, to share your unique point of view, your unique message with the world in the way that you need to start building that audience, creating influence off of the back of what you're already doing to help people. What else? What else have people tried in the past that's failed kind of in this zone, Charlie?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it, but they may have like video day, right? Where they pay a videographer, they go there, like, all right, we're gonna do it once a month or once a quarter, and we're gonna shoot videos for 2 straight days or a day. And of course that's expensive, stuff comes up. You do that. I think another thing, you kind of mentioned it, but they'll have a prompt pack that someone will say, hey, here's how to generate. One of the things that's good about your process is getting it dialed in is not just a prompt, but it's a system to refine it. Like the expectation is not that at the very beginning it's going to work perfect, but it's the setup will actually help them like get their unique world. And I think you did the other. You try to hire someone. For me, with referrals while you sleep, I've talked to a lot of coaches and marketing coaches, and it's amazing how hard it is for them to get my unique view. Whereas, because they confabulate it with all these other, like, okay, you just need to get them listings in the next 3 days. But that's not what we do. And so the blank slate aspect is really valuable.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let me reiterate some of what you just said. So it operating from your context and not coming pre-informed with ideas of what it means is really helpful, because it's really hard for humans to do that, right? It's really hard for humans to not simplify your ideas back to what they're already used to, right? And it's really hard for them to really understand nuance of what you do and how you describe things, right? Like they don't, other humans need to go through your life experiences to really understand the way that you approach and market your services, right? So that's really hard for humans to do well. And if you found resistance in that process of kind of getting humans on board with you, AI actually does that really well. Because like you could tell it, hey, forget everything that you know, just operate off of what I'm telling you. And it's like, okay. And it does that. And it does that pretty well. So yeah, that could be really helpful. What was the first I want to reiterate the first thing that you mentioned because it's not coming in my transcript well. What did you mention before that one?
So it was the video day at a location, and the other was
perfect.
They've tried
Perfect.
and the other was they've tried prompt packs, but you've got a system to tweak it.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So if you've tried something like doing a video day or trying to bulk create stuff in the past, like especially like sitting down doing videos, like I love it. It's a great way to do it. But here's the reality when it comes to turning videos into your long-term social content. For one thing, many people will not ever watch your videos, right? And so having some form of written content that people can scan and start to become familiar with your point of view really helps you to build that influence over time so that you can get them interested enough into actually diving into your video content as well, right? So that it tends to be really helpful. And even making videos short, that can work well, and that's better than maybe long form videos. But making a video short, still runs into that problem where sometimes people just don't want to watch it, right? So by getting written versions of your either video or virtual meetings, you're actually able to really on-ramp people into your point of view much more effectively than you might have in the past. And so it can be more effective as an initial place where people interact with you. It can also it's drastically cheaper. Even with AI can do video stuff at this point. There's some really great tools for that, things like Opus Clip and Vizard and Descript, and how they can make it easier to find the short form amongst the long form. But they're not perfect, and in order to validate that they are your point of view and that they do make sense, it still requires somebody sitting down and going through it. And it's it's drastically quicker than it used to be, but it is still, if you're struggling to post at all, it's probably not the solution to make it feel easy and reliable, right? Going from, a transcript into multiple social posts that are written, that can be done almost completely with AI processes and done well in a reliable way. So that's dealing with that struggle of, I've done video in the past, but I still struggle to get the stuff posted. Well, you probably struggled because it's expensive to do the derivative content, and other people trying to write off of your content is going to be hard. So having a way of even turning that, the video day is great. Do the video day, integrate this process into it, and then your video day will be drastically more effective than it used to be. So that's part of how I think about that. On the next thing that you said, was I lost.
People have bought a prompt pack and it didn't work, but you've actually got a system where you're communicating and refining to get your unique voice.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is not expected to be that you just take your transcript, you throw it in the thing, and then you just either get the thing back or not. This is really the way that I work with AI and the way that I teach people is definitely you start with the understanding of this will get me started, but over time I'm going to refine this. I'm going to make it. I'm going to figure out what are the keywords that I need to throw in here that gets me back what I'm looking for, right? How do I iterate over this in order to get closer and closer and closer to the ideal outcome? And what's powerful is that when you do that, it doesn't take a ton of effort in order to massage your prompts and your systems in that way. But when you do it, your repeatable outcome moving forward becomes drastically better. So yeah, if you've bought prompt packs in the past and thought, and this hasn't worked for me, this doesn't work well, there's probably a reason. And it's the same basic reason of some of these other things that we've talked about. They're not operating from your context. They don't know what you're looking to accomplish. They don't have your unique point of view. And so through this offer, through this workshop that we'll be putting together, we'll show you how to adapt this to make it fit your goals, your needs, and not expect that you're just gonna take our prompts and they immediately work for you. That'd be nice. It's not realistic though. Not from what I've seen. So we're going to empower you with the tools to adapt what we're doing, rather than just expecting it to be a one-off thing that just works for you.
Is now a good place that I can add one of the really cool side effects from this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the really cool side effects with this is as you build up your recordings and your unique perspectives, that can become the foundation where in the future, when you get new recordings, it doesn't require as much editing.
Right.
And so like one of the things that I've done is I've been taking like short videos from Alex Hormozy or Story Brand, and they just have like a tactic. Say you need to do this with your messaging, and so I'll actually say, hey, apply this 90-second tactic to my foundation, and it's creating really good stuff. And at a deeper level, I'm going through a training right now, and it wants me to create my ideal client profile according to like their specific scenario. And of course, like I've used your system and I've got this whole foundation of what I do. And so I was able to say, hey, take this hour-long transcript, read it in detail, and fill it out according to what I do. And so like something that, you know, I probably never would have done well, I was able to get done like probably in like 15 minutes at a super high level.
Right. Yeah, I love it. Love that.
It's foundational, so you can exponentially keep getting better and better.
Love it. Okay, so let me reiterate that idea. So, what I heard you say is that this process that we work on, not only does it solve the problem of creating the social content kind of as you go, right? It starts working right from the beginning, but it also actually helps you to start to build up the assets, to build up the point of view, documentation around customers, around what your business does, all of that. It starts building out these assets that you could then use and deploy. So, you know, even without having to provide full context, it can adapt things. Like if you hear of a framework or a process or a template you want it applied to your business, building out your business around these sorts of processes starts to make it that you kind of already have ready the tools that you need to deploy on other people's ideas and other things as you grow and learn in the future as well. Does that sound right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, perfect. All right, cool. Okay,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. Okay, so that covers our overarching customer journey. All right, now we're in the next stage of our process where we actually go through and we're going to leverage this in order to define what so when I'm building out an offer, I first and foremost, I don't think about what the offer itself is until I've clearly defined, like, what are people struggling with? What am I going to help them do? Like, I think about that first. And I think about the journey and what they've encountered so far. And so then I put together an approach that's designed to fix that problem. And typically that's around the curriculum and that sort of thing. So that's my next step, is to take everything that we just and sort of put it together into a structure that feels like a product, a tangible thing. And so that's what I'm going to go through and do now. Yeah, let's see how quickly we can move from what we just did into having an output here. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Claude, and I'm going to go into Zach Hammer personal brand so that it has some context for me. This is a Claude project. I've got my transcript running here. So I'm going to take from this, and I'm going to copy it all. And here, actually, it looks like I need to do it this way. Oh, come on. There we go. Well, let me do it. I might need to do it on a different window for it to let me. It's not wanting to work quite right. So let me do it over here. Let me come here, subtitles, copy the whole subtitle. Now I could copy just a portion, but I'm going to copy the whole thing. And I'm going to throw that in here. I can see that it pasted it here into Claude. And then now I need to grab my next tool or resource that I use. And that's my Productize Your Genius worksheet. Let me open that in a new tab. And then actually from this, I'm going to reveal file in Finder. And I'm going to grab that document here. So here I have the document. I've got it here in Yoink now, so I could drag it in. So that's a markdown document. I'm going to drag this into here, and then I'm going to say, based on the transcript, please fill out the Productize Your Genius worksheet to help me, Productize your genius worksheet. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, with this amount of context, that should be all that I need it to do. And so this is going to go through and it's going to think about that, all that content, all that concept. It should be able to fill in a lot of the gaps. It'll probably not be perfect, but let's see how it goes. And then from here, I'll show you kind of my next steps. Okay. So, what big life or business problems do your ideal clients face? List at least 5. Struggle to create consistent social media content. Having valuable insights in meetings, but failing to repurpose them. Wasting time trying to be creative when they've already done the creative work elsewhere. Getting generic and personal content while using AI without proper context. Inability to scale their content creation process. That feels right. I am sharing my screen, right?
Yep, I see it.
What big goals, dreams, or desires do your ideal clients have? List at least 5. Build a personal brand that reflects their unique experience. Attract ideal clients through content marketing. Establish themselves as trusted experts. Create content that genuinely sounds like them. Build a consistent presence without it consuming all their time. That sounds good. What would your ideal clients call themselves? Real estate agents, mompreneurs, nonprofit leaders, real estate agents, brokers, creators, workshop providers, freelancers, consultants, SaaS owners. So part of what this is doing, this is something that's worth noting. So I see this. Part of what this is doing is this is adapting itself based on the context of this project that I'm in. So the project knows a bit about how I describe myself. So it's bringing that into this, which may or may not be advantageous at this point. So just note that, like, your results might vary. It may not come up with the same things based on that transcript I just gave it. This is this project that I'm in, the Zach Hammer personal brand. That's part of why it's pulling in some of this context.
I've got a project I use a lot that talks about both realtors and lenders. And so sometimes I've got to tell it for realtors only or for lenders only.
Right. Exactly. Worksheet 1B, clarify your impact. What specific problems did they have when they first started working with you? They struggle with consistent content creation despite having valuable insights. They had meetings with clients where they shared their expertise, but this knowledge stayed trapped in those conversations. When they tried using AI for content, it produced generic slop or hot garbage that lacked their unique voice and perspective. See, I love it. It pulls in my own words, right? Or your words in this case. Generic slop is yours. Hot garbage is what I call it. What specific results did they get during or after working with you? They started leveraging their existing meetings and conversations as the source for creating authentic content. They established a reliable system to extract their insights and transform them into various content formats that maintained their unique voice and expertise. How was their life or business different? List the exact outcomes they experienced. Consistent social media presence without the typical creative blocks. Content that genuinely represented their unique perspective and expertise. Ability to repurpose one meeting into 7 to 10 social posts. Save hours of content creation time weekly. Increase visibility and audience growth from consistent posting. Ability to easily delegate content creation to team members or VAs. Yeah, those feel like good outcomes. What do you think?
Yep, I think so.
What other positive shifts or transformations occurred in their life or business because of those results? Reduced stress around content creation, better client attraction as their authentic voice reached more people, building of long-term content assets that represented their expertise, documentation of their methodology and approach that could be used for future products, ability to focus on their zone of genius while still maintaining visibility. That sounds good. How do they feel about their progress and themselves during and after working with you? They felt relieved that they could finally share their knowledge consistently without it being another difficult task. They were proud of the content they were putting out because it genuinely sounded like them rather than generic AI content. Felt in control of their brand narrative while spending less time on content creation. Man, this is feeling really good. I feel like this is something people would want, huh? Had they not worked with you, where would they be now? What would they have missed out or lost? They would still be inconsistently posting content, feeling guilty about their social media presence, and missing opportunities to connect with potential clients. They would continue struggling with the paradox of having valuable insights, but failing to share them broadly. Their expertise would remain trapped in one-to-one conversations rather than building their authority at scale. Man. Yeah, I can relate to that.
When we're done, I'd love to share. I'd love to see if you could do, one of my favorite things to test with this is whatever the response is, to say that's a great level 1 answer. Can you please give me a deeper level 2 answer? Be interesting to see what it would do there.
I might not go that direction with this portion here. I'll show you what I go to next from this.
Perfect.
because where I go from this is I try and get it to use this to build out. I call it a one sheet, and so the one sheet is just designed to be like, all right, if this is what we're building out, how would you describe this as kind of a like an elevator pitch sort of idea?
Gotcha.
So like, and typically what I did here, by the way, I adapted. This worksheet is actually a worksheet that humans would typically fill out. And I figured out if I just talk through these answers and then give it to AI, it's actually able to fill in a lot of these gaps for me in a really powerful way. And so it shortens my process if I don't have to sit down and write out these answers. I just have a conversation like I just did with you. Okay, so identify core outcomes from the information. Top 7 outcomes appear to be: transform existing meetings into 7 to 10 unique social posts per hour of content, create authentic content that genuinely sounds like you and your unique perspective, establish a repeatable system for consistent content creation, save hours of time by leveraging work you're already doing, build a content library that documents your expertise and methodology, easily delegate content creation to team members or virtual assistants, and overcome creative blocks by using conversations you're already having. And those sound like the right outcomes. Order your outcomes. The ideal order for client transformation: record and transcribe your existing meetings and conversations. 2, extract key insights and ideas from transcripts efficiently. 3, transform those insights into your baseline social content. 4, adapt your baseline content into various formats and platforms. 5, establish a consistent publishing schedule and system. 6, delegate parts of the process to team members or automation. And 7, build a comprehensive content library documenting your expertise. Man, that feels pretty good. The one thing I don't know if I'm going to include number 7 in this or not, and that might be like a surprise bonus of talking through that idea and that impact, but I don't know if I want to make it part of the course, because how I would talk about doing that is a little bit different, right? Like that really goes back into some of my core concepts in AMP Intel around like how you actually build out your systems and your content library and all of that. But yeah, so I might give people the idea, but I don't know if I want to cover that in depth.
And what is that line? I can't see it on my screen because it's so small.
Build a comprehensive content. Boom, roasted. Build a comprehensive content library documenting your expertise.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Refine your unique approach. Final list of steps in order. Record and transcribe your existing meetings and conversations. 2. So, by the way, part of what this is doing, we are, if our offer is like, here's the way that I think about it. Anything that I teach, anything that I provide to people, there is a clear and meaningful action that somebody should take in order to get the results. Right. And so this is defining it in a list of sequenced steps to say kind of the high level actions that somebody takes in order to end up with the result that we're promising them. And it's trying to put them in order based on what we described. So number 1.
Can I just say, interjecting?
Yeah.
That is also one of your real superpowers. You know, as part of your action oriented, you have to get stuff done. Right. And it's something that, it's a real gift. It's something that I'm not good at. But the fact that you were like every single step, like there has to be one thing you do, often with multiple options, but
right.
you pick, you do this, you get this result. Right. That is just a really good example of like, that's how you live. That's how you do all your one-on-ones. That's how you do all your courses. So,
right. Well, and I mean, it's really key because it can be really easy if you don't define it that way to end up building courses where people have lots of insights and information, but they don't have any clarity of what to do with it. And here's the reality. If you don't provide them the clarity of what to do with it, in their mind, they're left with this, it felt good, but what do I have to show for it? Right? And the only way that we give them something to show for it is that they see action that has happened, that moves them forward, that gets them doing something different, that changes what they're doing in their life from where they started to where they end up. If you don't have that sort of impact, then like ultimately, even if people liked your courses, they won't keep coming back to you because they're not seeing a real change in their life, in their business, in whatever they're looking for, right? And right. So so I always build these courses around the actions because it really clarifies for me. It's okay for me to provide context and understanding and give people the big view of something, but it should always relate to, okay, now that you have this big view, what do you do with it, right? What happens now? Because if you're missing that, then it's really easy to, make people feel good without actually giving them something to do, without giving them a way to have a meaningful impact. And to be clear, this isn't always like write something out or create this thing. Sometimes it's like the tool that you provide somebody could be as simple as, when you're stressed out about this, actively think about these words and see if that helps you feel better, right? It's not always a you get what I mean? Like, it's not always a there's something like physically present or a thing created. Sometimes it's literally just a mental process to run through, but it's still an action. Does that make sense?
You're right. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Anyway, okay. So you refine your unique approach. Final list of steps in order. Record and transcribe. Yep. Extract key insights. Yep. Transform those insights into baseline social content. Yep. Adapt your baseline content into various formats and platforms. Yep. Establish consistent publishing schedule and system. Yes. Okay. Perfect. And then essentially number 6 and number 7 kind of become they are either bonuses or just ideas that we touch on to say, hey, here's some further opportunities. So I like that. These are the 5 steps that I would do. Okay, so now we want to brand the approach. So this is it actually helping us take these ideas and putting it together in a format that feels more like a that feels like an easy to flow through follow system. And so it's naming the steps. Let's see how it did and let's see if we like it. Number 1, capture. Number 2, extract. Number 3, transform. Number 4, adapt. And number 5, distribute. And that feels pretty good. What is that? It's a CTAD. So sometimes you can adapt. Yeah, sometimes you can adapt it further and get it to be a full on, acronym acrostic kind of thing where it makes sense. In this case, I don't think I want to take it any further than that. I like this. Capture, extract, transform, adapt, distribute. And then capture is record and transcribe. Extract, identify key insights and content nuggets. Transform, create your baseline social content. Adapt, customize for different platforms and formats, and then distribute. I like those words. How do you sit with those words? Would you change any of them?
Yeah.
You like?
No, simple and clear. I like it.
Perfect. All right, perfect. All right, and then name your unique approach. So this one is the one that I tend to actually have to work on the most, because this is it's not necessarily the name of the course. It may be the name of the course, but it's the name of the method, right? The name of the process that we're running people through. So let's see what it came up with. So the meeting to marketing system, the conversation conversion framework, the meeting repurposing method, the content extraction system, the authentic AI content method, the meeting leverage framework, the effortless content system. That's what I'm leaning toward.
I like that. Yeah.
The conversation to content method, the meeting content extraction system, the authentic automation framework. I like the effortless content system from these. And it's trying to say which one you should do. I don't like theirs. I would go with the effortless content system. What do you think about those options? And would you have any feedback for me to run through to try and come up with a different name?
My first was meeting to marketing, but the effortless content system is what everyone wants, and it's true.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, really, it's the heart of what we're trying to get at, right?
Right.
All right, so let's tell it that. Let's say I want to go with the effortless content system. Can you please leverage the information we just covered and put together an artifact as a one sheet to describe this system? Cover things like what it is, why it matters, who it's for, how it helps, what specifically is done, i.e. the steps, etc. Give enough context that someone could read the one sheet and really understand if it's for them, how it would help, and what it would get them. And so an artifact is going to be kind of a document that it generates. It's this thing off to the side. And so let's see how it does. The effortless content system. Transform your meetings into authentic social content. What it is. The effortless content system is a revolutionary approach that transforms the expertise you already share in meetings, client calls, and consultations into consistent, authentic social media content without the typical creative blocks or additional time investment. The system flips the traditional content creation model upside down. Instead of starting at the blank page trying to come up with ideas, you simply leverage the valuable insights you're already sharing in your day-to-day conversations. Why it matters. Most creators, consultants, and business owners struggle with consistent content creation despite having valuable insights to share. When they try using AI for content, it produces generic slop that lacks their unique voice and perspective. The result, inconsistent posting, content that doesn't truly represent you, and missed opportunities to connect with potential clients. Your expertise remains trapped in one-to-one conversations rather than building your authority at scale. Who it's for. The system is for real estate professionals looking to establish authority and attract leads, creators and workshop providers who share valuable insights in their sessions, consultants and freelancers whose expertise shines in client meetings, coaches and experts who need to scale their thought leadership. Perfect. And then SaaS owners, particularly in real estate, building authority in their niche. So I would get rid of, in this case, particularly in real estate, and I'd just leave it at SaaS. The reason why it's saying particularly in real estate is because I have personal experience working with real estate SaaS companies, and so I've included that in my personal brand. But the reality is this content is going to be relevant whether or not it's a SaaS, real estate SaaS or not. If you're someone who excels in conversations but struggles with turning that brilliance into consistent written content, the system was built for you. The transformation from struggling with blank page syndrome and inconsistent posting to creating 7 to 10 unique social posts from each hour of meeting content, publishing authentic content that genuinely sounds like you, not AI-generated fluff, establishing a repeatable system that works even when you're busy or tired, building a comprehensive library that documents your expertise, easily delegating content creation to team members or virtual assistants. I'm not sure if I'm going to include those last two in it, but I think that makes sense overall. How it works, the 5-step process. Number 1, capture. Record and transcribe your meetings, calls, and presentations using simple tools like Zoom, Crisp.ai, which is spelled wrong, or Firefly. This works for both virtual and in-person conversations, capturing your expertise as it naturally flows. Extract. Identify and isolate the valuable nuggets of wisdom from your transcripts. Each hour of conversation typically yields 7 to 10 content ideas, insights that would have otherwise remained trapped in that single interaction. Transform. Convert these extracted insights into baseline social posts that maintain your authentic voice, perspective, and expertise. This isn't generic AI content. It's your content powered by AI. Adapt. Customize your baseline content for different platforms and formats. Twitter threads, LinkedIn posts, Instagram carousel, short videos, and more, all while maintaining your unique voice and perspective. 5, distribute. Implement a consistent publishing schedule and system that keeps your content flowing without daily creative effort. Optional. Set up evergreen content drip systems for maximum impact with minimal ongoing effort. Perfect. What makes this different? Unlike other content systems that require daily creative effort, produce generic AI content lacking your voice, or force you to learn new skills, the effortless content system leverages work you're already doing, creates authentically you content by using your actual words, fits seamlessly into your existing workflow, produces better content the more you use it, as the AI better understands your unique style. And that sounds awesome. Creates better content the more you use it. That feels like NLP hypnosis sort of suggestion there.
Right.
Your investment includes step-by-step workshop showing you exactly how to implement each phase, tool recommendations for recording, transcribing, and AI processing, proven prompts that transform transcripts into engaging content, VA training materials to easily delegate the process when ready, bonus VA hiring accelerator for those who prefer to delegate from day one. Perfect. who this isn't for. The system isn't for those who don't regularly have conversations where they share expertise, prefer completely hands-off content creation, don't want to record their meetings or conversations, aren't willing to implement a simple technical process. Bottom line, if you're tired of struggling with content creation while knowing you're already sharing valuable insights in meetings and conversations, the Effortless Content System offers a solution that leverages what you're already doing well. Stop letting your expertise remain trapped in one-to-one conversations. Start sharing your knowledge at scale and building your authority through consistent, authentic content that truly sounds like you. I've gone from struggling to post once a week to effortlessly sharing valuable content daily, and it's content that generally sounds like me, not some AI robot. My audience engagement has never been higher. Ready to transform your content creation? Join our upcoming workshop to learn the complete Effortless Content System and start turning your meetings into marketing that works. Man!
I want to buy it.
Yeah, shoot. I want to create it. I'm excited. All right. So we got that. Here's part of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to throw this. I use a tool called HackMD to make documents like this easily shareable. So I'm going to create a new note in HackMD. I'm going to throw it in there, and I'm going to make some of my changes that I need to make. So one of the changes, the transformation. Okay. For these, I'm going to say potential transformations that come outside of the effortless content system itself. Okay, and then where'd that real estate SaaS ones? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. Perfect. Everything else I felt like was pretty good. Okay, so this is a good.
So, question: why do you use HackMD instead of Obsidian for this?
Most typically, I mean, the one thing that Obsidian is lacking, well, I mean, honestly, part of it is I don't want to pay for the continual sync with Obsidian to kind of get the same feature. And HackMD is free and lets me share this across my team. So part of why I would throw this in here is because my assistant, who's on this call right now with us, Mural, she has access to everything that's in here automatically without me thinking about it.
Gotcha.
And so if I needed her to leverage something, that's why I'd come in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's one of those things, like, it is still, for me, it's a sore thing that I want to solve. I want what Obsidian gets me on the computer, but the one thing that it's missing is the collaborativeness that I could get with something like HackMD.
Gotcha.
So that, long term, that's something I want to solve. And having it in two places is less than ideal. And does cause problems of its own sometimes. So it's still a thing that I'm working on. But anyway, that's why. Okay, and so I do now. I want to come back in here, and I want to do this. So let's see what it comes up with. That's great. Now, going back to the productize your worksheet, specifically the portions dealing with the customer journey, etc. Your answers were great, high level thoughts. Give me your script again for how you want it to go deeper.
I mean, it's very simple. Usually that's a great level 1 answer. Please give me a deeper level 2 answer.
All right, perfect. Your answers were
so
great.
Deeper level 2.
Level 1 thoughts. Go deeper and give me deeper level 2 answers. Yeah, perfect. Let's see how it does with this, because I am curious what it comes back with.
Sometimes it's great.
Right. And by the way, like, part of why I go to this option first, like, one of the things that I think about for AI is, so let's talk about this. The reason why I do this is first and foremost, I'm checking. I use AI partially as a mirror, right? I use it to reflect back to me. Did what I say, was it clear? Or like a mirror that's dirty, is something fuzzy in this? Is it not understanding some aspect of what I want to convey, right? So first and foremost, I say at the top level, is it doing what I want it to? Now, here's the insight that what you're doing here does, which is, can I leverage AI to not just be like a mirror showing back to myself, but using it more like maybe a curved mirror, or like one of those mirrors that they have at convenience stores up in the corner that's rounded and shows you everything, right? Where can I use AI as a mirror that actually lets me see my blind spots and lets me see more than I would see naturally on my own, right? So not just is it reflecting back what I want it to reflect, but is there more that I could do to do this even better? So this is a tactic that you're using that's, that's why you would go here next. So anyway, does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so step one, ideate your impact. Level 2 answers. Okay, so what big life or business problems do your ideal clients face? Deeper level. Not just struggling to create content, but experiencing anxiety and imposter syndrome when trying to articulate their expertise in writing. Man, they question if home. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's good. Man. Trapped expertise syndrome, feeling frustrated that their best insights and explanations happen spontaneously in meetings but vanish afterwards. They know they're brilliant in the moment, but can't recreate that brilliance on demand. Man, they're speaking to us, Charlie. That value time disconnect, experience cognitive dissonance between knowing content marketing works and resenting the time it takes from their core work. They feel guilty prioritizing client work over marketing, but also guilty when they do the opposite. Man,
sign me up and take my kidney.
AI disillusionment cycle. Initially excited by AI tools, but disappointed by generic output, then frustrated by the realization that they still need to learn complex prompting, leading to abandonment and a sense of technological inadequacy. I mean, I don't deal with this one personally, but I could see why people do. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Growth ceiling. These three are all like, they're like, this is the parts of this product that I created this to solve these for myself, right?
Right.
Growth ceiling, hitting an invisible barrier where they can't scale beyond their current client load because their marketing is inconsistent, leading to feast or famine cycles and financial stress. Yeah, I get that. What big goals, dreams, or desires do your ideal clients have? Deeper level, effortless authority. They don't want to just be seen as experts. They want that recognition to come naturally without feeling like they're marketing themselves or being inauthentic. That would sound like you.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Mental liberation. They dream of being freed from the cognitive burden of content creation, eliminating the Sunday night dread of I should be posting something tomorrow. Gosh, this is good. Intellectual validation. They desire confirmation that their unique approach and perspective is valuable. Seeing engagement with their ideas validates their professional identity. Or that they're be valuable. Seeing engagement with their idea. Yeah. Okay, so essentially seeing like this to me, I think what it's saying is, I want to know that my ideas are actually having an impact on people, and getting those ideas out into the public and getting engagement and feedback helps me to validate that people value what I have to say. Does that make sense? I think that's what it's meaning. Time reclamation. They fantasize about recovering hours each week while simultaneously increasing their visibility. The ultimate productivity fantasy. I mean, I think this is what you fall asleep thinking at night.
Yeah. It's true.
Legacy documentation. Beyond short-term marketing, they secretly desire to build a body of work that documents their thinking and approach, something that they can eventually turn into books, courses, or a professional legacy. Yeah, I think that's kind of that's when we look at Maslow's hierarchy, this is probably one of those longer-term ones where it's maybe people aren't even consciously thinking about this a ton, but it's kind of lurking. Like it's lurking under the weight of I'm not even doing the baseline thing. How can I do this? But maybe this is part of like what starts to peek at the hope of what could come, right? Let's see. What were your ideal clients? call themselves deeper context real estate agents, brokers, specifically those who pride themselves on consultative approach and industry expertise rather than just closing deals. Thought partner consultants, those who see themselves as strategic advisors rather than task executors whose value lies in their thinking process. Reluctant experts, highly knowledgeable professionals who dislike self-promotion despite knowing they need visibility. Man, that is that's a good one. It's in terms of like
experts.
Yeah. So specifically in how it describes it. So highly knowledgeable professionals who dislike self-promotion despite knowing they need visibility. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, that is my best client to teach.
Right. Like, yeah, I mean, you're like really speaking to that. It's like, and maybe they don't like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's like for me, the way that I relate to this, it is really easy for me to sit down and help somebody. And I don't have any problem with the idea of promoting myself. It's not like I'm at least not wrestling with like the, oh, what will they think of me? Like I'm not dealing with that. But what I am dealing with is like, it's easy for me to help somebody else. It is really hard for me to help myself in terms of like sitting down and doing the work. And so, given the choice between like sitting down, taking the time to market myself versus sitting down and taking the time to help somebody else, it's easier to help somebody else. That's kind of how I relate to this one. But conversational geniuses, people who excel in live interactions but struggle to translate that brilliance into written content. That one's also you and me. Yeah, we're both better live.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like it's not hard for me to write. I can write pretty well, I think. The hard part is that it feels like work. Does that make sense? Like it's not hard to get a good outcome, but it feels like work.
Yeah. It takes an inordinate amount of time for what you get.
Yeah, exactly. Time-starved visionaries, business owners whose ideas outpace their capacity to share them broadly. Well, that's true of us. Okay. Clarify your impact, deeper analysis. What specific problems did they have when they first started working with you? They were trapped in content creation paradox. They were most articulate and insightful during client interactions, but had no system to capture and repurpose those moments. This created a painful disconnect where they knew their expertise was valuable, but couldn't effectively demonstrate it to a broader audience. Many had attempted to use AI tools, but found themselves spending more time fixing generic outputs than they would have spent writing content from scratch. This led to a growing sense of technological inadequacy and content marketing fatigue. The sporadic nature of their posting created a negative feedback loop. Inconsistent posting led to poor engagement, which discouraged further posting, reinforcing the belief that content marketing might not work for them, despite seeing competitors succeed with it. Man, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that angle. The angle of people have tried it and like either didn't do it enough or didn't refine it enough to get good results. So it's like it was already a lot of work to even produce it in the first place. And if you don't like get engagement on it, when it took you so much time and you don't get engagement, it's like, well, why even bother doing it again? Right? Like that reality, that's a good insight. What specific results did they get during or after working with you? They experienced a profound shift from viewing content creation as a separate task to seeing it as a natural extension of the work they already enjoyed. This mental reframing eliminated the resistance that they previously that had previously blocked consistent action. Their AI relationship transformed from frustration to empowerment as they learned to make technology serve their unique voice rather than override it. The system allowed them to build a content creation flywheel where each meeting generated multiple pieces of content, which attracted more meetings, creating a virtuous cycle. Most significantly, they developed a content abundance mindset rather than a scarcity perspective, recognizing that they were constantly generating valuable insights that could be captured and shared. Man, like reading that, there's like this feeling of peace that comes down on me. Like, yeah, it's like, oh man, that just feels like a warm blanket. That's that's good. All right, how was their life or business different? List the exact outcomes they experienced. Presence without pressure, maintain visibility in the market without emotional burden of forced creativity. Conversation to client pipeline, establish a direct link between natural conversations and new business opportunities. Productivity reconciliation, resolve the internal conflict between doing the work and marketing the work. Progressive progressive confidence, experience increased comfort with their public persona as content consistently represented their authentic self. Compound knowledge assets, built an interconnected body of content rather than created cumulative. That creative community. Built an interconnected body of content that created cumulative authority rather than disconnected posts. That's good.
That's wordy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wordy, but the concept is good. Meeting ROI multiplier transformed every client interaction into both immediate value and future marketing assets. Delegation without dilution, successfully outsource content process without losing their authentic voice. It's a good one too. What other positive shifts or transformations occurred? Deeper analysis. They experienced cognitive unburdening. The mental space previously occupied by I should be more creative was freed for higher value thinking. This led to more creative client solutions and business innovations. Many discovered patterns of their own expertise they hadn't previously recognized, leading to more structured methodologies and potentially new offerings. The system essentially became a form of professional self-discovery. By consistently sharing their approach, they naturally attracted better aligned clients who already understood and valued their methodology, reducing sales friction and improving client relationships. They also developed a form of passive filtering. Their consistent content repelled poor fit prospects while attracting ideal clients, improving their client quality without additional screening efforts. That's so
Sign me up. Is this $2,000? I'll pay for it.
Oh, man. How did they feel about their progress of themselves? They experienced profound relief from what many described as content creator guilt, the persistent feeling that they should be sharing more value. This emotional weight had been affecting them more than they realized. Many reported a renewed sense of professional identity as they saw their expertise validated through engagement with their content. The flywheel effect of consistent posting created a positive feedback loop where increasing engagement reinforced their confidence. Perhaps most significantly, they experienced a sense of alignment between their private professional self, how they show up in meetings, and their public persona, how they appear online, reducing the imposter syndrome many faced when marketing themselves. Had they not worked with you, where would they be? They would likely be caught in an escalating cycle of content marketing frustration, trying new tools and tactics, experiencing temporary motivation followed by abandonment, and gradually developing a belief that they simply aren't good at marketing despite their expertise. Man, does that hit home, Charlie?
Yeah, 100,000%.
Many would resort to outsourcing their content creation entirely, resulting in generic material that fails to capture the unique value, further reinforcing the belief that content marketing doesn't work for their specific situation. Over time, this would create a growing competitive disadvantage as more digital savvy competitors build audience connection through consistent content, eventually pushing these professionals toward commoditization, where they compete primarily on price rather than perceived expertise. The missed opportunity cost would be beyond marketing. Without a system to document their thinking, many unique insights and approaches would remain uncaptured, limiting their ability to develop proprietary methodologies or scalable knowledge products. Wow. Other significant challenges they face: expertise blindness, difficulty recognizing which aspects of their knowledge are most valuable to others because they've internalized them. Dang, that's good. This is literally what I call it: expert blindness. Yeah, wow. Perfectionism paralysis, fear that documenting content becomes permanent, leading to excessive editing or abandonment. Okay. Tech stack overwhelm, anxiety about choosing the wrong tools and wasting time learning systems that might change. Delegation trust issues, concern that no one else can truly capture their voice or nuanced expertise. Visibility vulnerability, subconscious fear that increased visibility leads to increased criticism. Okay, I'm sure that's something that people deal with. ROI uncertainty, difficulty connecting content marketing efforts to actual business results, leading to motivation fluctuations. Wow. All right. Let's see with on the back of that. Let's see what it does with this. Identify core outcomes. The top 7 outcomes with deeper analysis. Transform existing meetings into 7 to 10 unique social posts per hour. Deeper value. Creates a content multiplication effect where every client interaction generates exponential visibility, fundamentally changing the ROI equation of client meetings. That's powerful. Create authentic content that genuinely sounds like you. Deeper value resolves the authenticity paradox where marketing often feels inauthentic, allowing natural expertise to be shared without putting on a marketing voice. Establish a repeatable system for consistent content creation. Deeper value transitions content from willpower dependent to process dependent. Removing the psychological barrier of motivation, replacing it with reliable systems. 4, save hours of time by leveraging work that you're already doing. Oh, we're past time, but I'm your next meeting, right?
Yeah.
Save hours of time by leveraging work you're already doing. Eliminate the cognitive switch between doing the work and marketing the work. Integrating them into a unified professional presence or practice. Build a content library that documents your expertise. Deeper value creates a progressive intellectual asset that increases in value over time, forming the foundation for future higher tier offerings. And by the way, we're going through all of this right now. Most of the time when I do this process, I literally skip down to the steps and the outcome and generate the one sheet and just see what happens. I'm going through this more for the benefit of anybody watching and kind of documenting this process.
Yeah.
But like my short check on this is I get it to do that. I select my steps, I select my name, and I get it to generate the one sheet. Then I read the one sheet and see if it captured it well or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good to know.
Overcome creative blocks by using conversations you're already having. Deeper value eliminates the psychological resistance of the blank page by starting from natural expression rather than forced creation. Worksheet 2B, order your outcomes. Okay, so this is showing the order of the things. Refine your unique. Yeah, man. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so that was awesome. Key things I want you to do now. 1, do not change the name of the system or the steps as we already had them. Keep them how you had them before. 2, integrate the insights we just unlocked in order to make the one sheet more impactful. This should feel like massaging the message rather than fully changing it. The changes may be subtle, but impactful. It should not require rewording everything, but really just making the minor tweaks that will help this hit home with our ideal audience. With that in mind, please update the one sheet artifact. Let's see how it does.
Subtle like the coconut flavor.
Yeah. Coconut subtle. All right, let's see how this comes out. I need to wait for a second because sometimes, like when it's doing the editing, it feels like it's happening in a spot, but it doesn't actually hit in the right spot until it's done editing. So we'll let it edit first. Man, this has been a good, powerful session so far.
Yeah.
Oh, just a second. Let me add you back on stage. There we go. I switched.
You got me.
Yep, you're back on stage. I switched a scene, and I needed to do it through the scene rather than doing it through this thing. But anyway.
Gotcha.
Man, I really love doing this in public. I don't know how to describe this. I kind of like the reality that us doing this as a live stream means that most people will not watch this.
Yeah.
Because literally everything that I just showed is incredibly powerful if people take action on it. And I know the reality of this is like us offering this in public, like it really solves it solves a couple of things for me. One, I always love the idea of somebody who is incredibly motivated not having money be what's holding them back, right?
Right.
And like if I'm talking to the person that like they're struggling to make things work, they're struggling to figure it out, but like they know that this exists and they can build off of it, and like they're able to do the legwork to sit and understand it and try and go through it. Like, power to them. Like what I just worked through is something really powerful. But like the reality is that it gives me the opportunity to create it live, and there is the majority of people I think will find more value in like after we do all this work to think through this stuff and build out the process. When it's distilled into a course that has like the clear logical flow, it's easier for most people to get the result from that. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Because we'll answer the questions that we're not answering here. You know, there's things that we have assumed or not gone over because we're just doing it. Right.
Right. All right.
And I imagine there's it's what Hormozy says, give all your best stuff away, and the people that want your expertise will, they know exactly what you do.
Right. Exactly. All right. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep this here, and I want to go to this one. There we go. All right, let's come back to this. Here's what it came up with. Let's see how it improved it, or if not. So I vaguely remember what we had before. Let's see how this one sounds, and if we feel like it hits home better than before. The effortless content system, transforming meetings into authentic social content. What it is. The effortless content system is a revolutionary approach that transforms the expertise you already share in meetings, client calls, and consultations into consistent, authentic social media content without the typical creative blocks or additional time investment. I think that's basically the same. This system flips the traditional content creation model upside down. Instead of staring at a blank page, experiencing content creation paralysis, you simply leverage the brilliant insights you're already sharing naturally in your day-to-day conversations, capturing your expertise at its most authentic. I feel like that one changed a little bit. Why it matters. Most creators, consultants, and business owners experience the painful paradox of being most articulate in client interactions while struggling to recreate that brilliance on demand for content. They cycle through AI tool excitement, disappointment with generic outputs, and frustration with complex prompting, often abandoning the tools altogether. The result, inconsistent posting leads to poor engagement, which discourages further efforts, creating a negative feedback loop. Your best insights remain trapped in one-to-one conversations, while the cognitive burden of I should be creating content weighs on you constantly, creating both professional limitations and emotional stress. I feel like that's hitting better than it was before. I don't remember what it said before, but who it's for. The system is perfect for real estate professionals who pride themselves on consultative expertise rather than just closing deals. Thought partner consultants whose greatest value lies in their thinking process and strategic advice. Reluctant experts who dislike self-promotion despite knowing they need visibility. Conversational geniuses who excel in live interaction but struggle to translate that brilliance to written content. Time-starved visionaries who ideas outpace their capacity to share them broadly. Man, that who it's for, I think hits. I don't know which do you think would hit better for sake of marketing? Like what it was before was more of the like the surface level. This is who you are. This one's more of the like the. I mean, it is. It's the deeper idea of who they are. Does that make sense?
Right.
What for sake of marketing, which do you think would hit better?
That's a good question.
Oh, you're cutting out a bit.
Surfacey? Oh, can you hear me?
I think you're back.
The first one felt like simpler and flowy. It could be that we've just read a bunch of words. I feel like I'd have to look at it fresh, after a little.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But either way, I like the insights that it's giving us. This is really, at this point, it's more of a technical question of which one gets the result better, and that's something that you can test. Right. That's something that you can do like a split test to run and see which one hits better. But I think the insights that we gained are useful regardless of where all they're impacted in here. And this is part of where the human expertise still comes into play, right? This isn't the kind of thing where AI is guaranteed to make it better just because you asked it to make it better. This is the kind of thing where it's like, now you have another option. You have something to test. You have a different framework to put it through to see which one does hit better. And then in the real world, you're actually able to deploy and see which one gets you the better result.
Right.
All right, the transformation from consecration paralysis and guilt of inconsistent posting to creating 7 to 10 unique social posts from each hour of client meeting content, a true multiplication effect for every client interaction. Resolving the authenticity paradox by sharing your natural expertise without putting on a marketing voice. Transitioning from willpower dependent to process dependent content creation. Building an intellectual asset library that increases in value over time, forming the foundation of future offerings. Delegating without dilution, maintaining your authentic voice when others manage the process. What did it sound like before? Creating 7 to 10 unique social posts from each hour meeting content, publishing authentic content that truly sounds like you, not AI generated fluff, establishing a repeatable system that works even when you're busy or tired. I feel like this transformation might actually be better.
The first one?
Yeah.
It feels just simpler. It feels like the second one kind of became like professor / academic.
Right. Yeah. It when we said deeper, it said it thought more words. But right. What we meant connect to the emotion more. Right.
Yeah.
How it works, the 5-step process. Record and transcribes your meetings, calls, and presentations using simple tools like Zoom. Capturing your expertise as it naturally flows. Identify and isolate the valuable nuggets of wisdom from your transcripts. Each hour of conversation typically yields 7 to 10 unique content ideas, insights that would otherwise have remained trapped in that single interaction. Convert these extracted insights into baseline social posts that maintain your authentic voice, perspective, and expertise. This isn't generic AI content. It's your content powered by AI. I think this is staying mostly the same. Customize your baseline content. Yeah. Distribute. Perfect. What makes us different? Unlike other content systems that require daily creative effort, creating a constant cognitive burden, produce generic AI consensus content, missing your unique perspective, force you to choose between authenticity and efficiency. The effortless content system eliminates the gap between doing the work and marketing the work, creating a content abundance mindset rather than a scarcity perspective. Uses AI as an extension of self rather than a replacement. Creates a virtuous cycle where meetings generate content, which attracts more meetings. Your investment includes step-by-step workshop, tool recommendations. Yeah, who this isn't for. Don't regularly have conversations where they share their expertise. Prefer completely hands-off. Don't want to record their meetings. Aren't willing to implement a simple technical process. Bottom line, if you're experiencing the frustration, disconnect between how articulate you are in meetings versus how difficult content creation feels afterwards, the effortless content creation system resolves this exact pain point by capturing your expertise when it flows most naturally. Free yourself from the persistent weight of content creator guilt while simultaneously building your authority. Transform every client interaction into both immediate value and future marketing assets through consistent, authentic content that truly sounds like you. Between serving ready? Go ahead.
So I think version 2 is too wordy and syllaby. And
right,
like the simple for version 1 is good. If I was actually going to test something, I would probably like have a new thread and take like the level 2 and say create a simple 1 page with and like just kind of try to do that, because it's trying to do 2 things at once right now, and I think it's messing it up.
Yeah. So and here's how I'd at least try to see if a third stab at this might work. So there's some good aspects of that and bad aspects. The thing I like is when we connect to the emotional ideas that impact someone. The thing I dislike is when we make the one sheet overly verbose and wordy needlessly. Please strike a balance between the 2 versions, pulling on the strength of the emotional connection while threading the needle of the simplicity of the first. Please give me a new version based on that feedback. I'm curious if it'll be able to. Sometimes giving it that direction is enough, but it may not. Like you said, pulling into a new thread might be necessary.
The other thing that I'll do sometimes is I'll actually just edit the response above and put that, which I learned from you.
Yeah, that can be really helpful too. Sometimes it depends. It depends on if I want it to have the context of what it did or not. Like if it went down a really bad train of thought, then that's often what I'll do. In this case, like there's aspects of what it did before that I liked. It's mostly a refinement of what it did that I want, if that makes sense. So let's see how this one came out. So the effortless content system transforms the expertise you already share in meetings and client calls to authentic social media content without creative blocks or extra time investment. The system flips traditional content creation upside down. Instead of staring at a blank page, you leverage the insights you're naturally sharing in your daily conversations. Why it matters. Most professionals excel in conversations but struggle to recreate that brilliance in their content. When they try using AI, they get generic outputs that lack their unique voice. The result, inconsistent posting, diminished engagement, and the persistent guilt of knowing you should be more visible. Your best insights stay trapped in one-on-one conversations instead of building your authority. Who it's for. The system is perfect for real estate professionals who excel at consultation but struggle with consistent marketing. Coaches and consultants whose expertise shines in client meetings. Thought leaders who dislike self-promotion despite knowing they need visibility. Busy entrepreneurs whose client work always seems to take priority over marketing. If you're articulate in meetings but find content creation draining, this system was built for you. The transformation from blank page frustration to content confidence. Turn each hour of meeting content into 7 to 10 unique social posts. Create content that genuinely sounds like you, not AI generated fluff. Free yourself from the mental burden of I should be posting something. Build a valuable content library that documents your expertise over time. Easily delegate content creation without losing your authentic voice. How it works: 5-step process. Capture, record, and transcribe your meeting using simple tools like Zoom or Crisp AI. Extract. Identify the valuable nuggets of wisdoms for your transcripts that would otherwise remain trapped in that single conversation. Transform. Convert these extracted insights into baseline social content, social posts that maintain your authentic voice and expertise. Adapt. Customize your content for different platforms and formats while maintaining your unique perspective. Distribute. Implement a consistent publishing schedule that keeps your content flowing without daily creative effort. Yep. What makes us different? Separate your client work from your, unlike other content systems that separate your client work from marketing efforts, produce generic AI content lacking your unique perspective, require creative energy you don't have. The effortless content system bridges the gap between doing the work and marketing the work, creates content that truly sounds like you using your actual words, turns every client interaction into both immediate value and future marketing, builds a virtuous cycle where content attracts more of your ideal clients. Your investment includes, that's all the same, who this isn't for, aren't willing to, yeah, perfect. If you're tired of the disconnect between how articulate you are in meetings versus how difficult content creation feels afterwards, the effortless content system bridges that gap. Stop letting your expertise remain trapped in conversations. Start building your authority through content that actually sounds like you, without the stress and time investment of traditional methods. Resolved the conflict between serving clients and marketing my business. Every great conversation now automatically becomes great content. I finally freed myself from the guilt of inconsistent posting. Ready to transform. Yeah, I mean, I think this version feels better overall. It's touching on a few of the ideas that the original missed. So I'm gonna throw this in here at the bottom of it. So I've kind of got the two versions of the one sheet. I would want to go through and iterate on this a little bit, but so here's where we go from here. Let me go back to this view. So here's where we go from here, and what our next step is. Then we've got to get on to our next meeting. So the next step from here, so with this one sheet, the one sheet to me is a little, it's like the offer. The difference, the difference to me between an offer and what we just put together is that we put together like a solution, but the offer is how we wrap that in price point and structure and time requirements, overall expected delivery, right? Like, so what we just did is we just distilled kind of if you were going to do this like fully, what does the idea of this solution sound like? That's what we just distilled. So we take that, and then now we actually build an offer off of it. And the offer is like, how do I buy this? Right? How do I get access to it, and what do I actually get when I buy this? Does that make sense? They're very similar, but just a little bit different. And so that's what we'll work on next. And then once we have the offer, the offer will include things like what date does it go live, what's the price, where do you go to buy, all of those things. Once we have the offer live, then everything that we've done so far also lets us start to build our promotional content, like our email sequences, our social posts, all of that. So we'll build that out live as well. And that would be our next step. And are we meeting Wednesday again to keep going forward on this, or is this a Wednesday that you're not able to meet?
Yeah, we are on for Wednesday.
All right, perfect. So in our next step, we'll hopefully dial in the offer, get that ready, and then start building out promotional content. I'm hoping by the end of this week, we might actually have everything that we need to launch a promotion. So that's
pretty cool.
Thought. Right? Yeah.
It's been fun so far building it.
Yeah. Any big insights from you? Like, I don't know, like, you've seen me do this process for you. Is there anything that you're seeing in me sort of running through this process with you, but for myself, that, I don't know, is different or insightful that you either hadn't noticed or like you're reminded of?
You've refined it even more. Like, I remember, the first time me and you did a webinar for Referrals While You Sleep, and it took, I think it took like a month of calls like this.
Right.
And now, it's been, 5 or 6 hours?
Right.
And it's, so I think just how refined it is, just how quick it is.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it really is. It's like part of it. What's the thing that's happening here that is unsaid? So the unsaid portion of this is that I have previously, I've actually built out a system that works for me. So this is easy for me to, it's easy for me to now describe that system and how it might be valuable to somebody else. So I feel like part of what people run into is they start something like this, and like the unsaid thing is that they haven't actually even developed their system or their process, right? And that would make this take a lot more time, right? Because you have to actually develop that out. You have to actually think through that. And so part of what we've done in the past, it wasn't that you didn't have a system, but when we first met, that was part of what we did together too, is we sort of clarified, what have you been doing? And then how would we best describe this as like a step-by-step process? Even that has gotten quicker for me. But there is an aspect of that might make it take longer for somebody. I think a couple of things that I've had as insights that have made this process quicker is for me to realize like everything has to come back to an action. That really helped clarify things for me. It's really helped me to be able to break out the parts of this. So like I start with the transformation. From the transformation, I think through the journey that somebody goes on in that transformation. And I ask myself some of the refinement questions about struggles and like, what have they tried in the past? I ask myself those questions and I think through them. And then from that, I'm able to actually put together like, okay, like here's the thing that's designed to help you and how does it help you? So doing that and then separately actually putting out like, cause here's the thing, getting this thing documented, now it's a tool that like once it's created, will be able to be leveraged in different ways. The same way that like the VA hiring accelerator now gets to become a bonus for this. And it very clearly, it's like, it helps in this way. That becomes part of how we're putting this together as an offer, right? The offer is both this solution plus the VA hiring accelerator offered as a package, plus the live portions. But in the future, we did the VA hiring accelerator as a live cohort at a certain price point. We could offer it again in the future and say, hey, it's not live, or it only includes one call, whereas we did like 4 or 5 before. And that's a different offer, even though it's the same solution. Does that make sense?
Right.
And me knowing that I could break those things apart and putting first things first and getting my system done has really helped me to get the right work done first. And really, I figured out, for me, defining the solution makes it so much clearer and so much easier to put together the offer and put together the promotions and all that, because I feel like I'm building from the place that comes easy to me, which is starting first and foremost with what does the person want and how do I help them get it, and then from there I could start to define, like, okay, now what's the price point that makes sense and what all needs to be included. I find that often working from the other end of saying, like, what price point am I going to offer this at, and then trying to build it from that. It's a whole lot easier for me to dial in the price point by increasing the intimacy to increase the price point, or decreasing the intimacy to decrease the price point, than it is to start with a price point and try and build off of that. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, anyway. Well, cool. Yeah, so our next steps we just developed the solution. Next step, we're going to develop the offer. So and it's all kind of part of the same process, but it's a subset of the overall process. So there we go. That has been today's episode of the Get Shipped Done show, as we're continuing to work on building out this mid-ticket offer. And we'll be able to then test and see how this went. So there you go. Any final thoughts before we hop off, Charlie?
No, this has been fun so far. Great example of how you work. If you're watching this, just imagine getting your biggest project done this efficiently. Today I left a meeting. I was driving home an hour away. I came home. I actually just finished a walk and got a lot of stuff done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like, this is an interesting example compared to what's normal. In this case, I'm working on my own stuff, but very often, like, the same process is what I'm doing if I was working on Charlie's stuff. I'd be asking him the questions and doing this stuff with him. And so we're this is a fun experiment right now of, it lets me step out of my own brain because I'm working on my own stuff, but having Charlie here to bounce ideas off of makes it flow a whole lot easier for me. So, yeah, it's fun. And yeah, well, there we go. So yeah, that's today's Get Shipped Done. We'll be back Wednesday is the plan, to continue through. Today we developed out the solution. On Wednesday, we'll continue to dive into the offer and really look at price points and what day and how we're going to deliver and all of that. So that's what's coming next. But yeah, there you go. That's it for today.
That sounds good. We'll see y'all next time.